Alright, welcome back everyone. It wasn't that long of a break as we are going to be getting right into this next match. With no further ado, we should be getting right into it as I will be unmuting my mic in Discord, and it sounds like you are here and good to go, Scribe, I assume?
Yep, always, man.
Well, I'll go ahead and let the players know so we can just get right into it, and they said go ahead, so we're just going to go right into it. Good thing I perfectly timed it out to be ready. It's almost like I'm telepathic with the players. Everyone knows everything. Now, it's also a situation where they have been playing all day. It's been a long day. Unfortunately, some of them not being able to watch the Atlantic Showdown like they would like to. But nonetheless, they are going to be getting right into it. And this definitely says that these teams want to get into it. They want to fight it out. They both feel confident. No delays, no smoke breaks, no bathroom breaks, no water breaks, no nothing. We're right into this. And I mean, that's definitely going to favor ANOX a little bit in sometimes because they have had that little bit more of a breather. They were able to maybe catch the end of Overwatch King's game, but at the end of it, I mean, if you were in the position of the analyst, actually, we'll get the introduction, then I'll go ahead and pose that to you. But for the defense, we haven't seen them yet. ANOX going to be picking it up. We have Shari K on a Reinhardt. We're going to have Cypher on the Reaper. Cooler yet to pick. Anik is going to be picking up the Zarya. We have Rubicon picking up the Zenyatta, and Kinsey, last but not least, on that McCree.
And on the other side, yeah, on the Overwatch King side, we have RY, the Reinhardt, Clown on the Lucio, Shatter 2K on the Genji, Additonian on the Zenyatta, and Olba on the Hanzo?
He might be switching from that. I have seen him pull out on this map before when I've casted them, so it wouldn't be too out of the norm. But what I wanted to pose the question with you is, if you're the analyst position, you're an analyst for ANOX, you just watched just the last match. You only had time to watch the last match of that game on Hollywood. Could you really pull anything out of that, you think, or is that just a sign Overwatch Kings looks solid and we need to play solid, or is there anything that you'd be looking to pull out from that?
Yeah, so there's actually something really small that I think that a lot of teams need to kind of notice, but it's the fact that Overwatch King still plays a little greedy. If you look at their ultimate usage, they're very, very quick with when they ultimate use, and Shatter oftentimes is the core of this entire team. If you watch out for them and you focus them specifically, they'll be very hard-pressed to get any DPS off.
Well, they're already going to be going in very aggressively. Going to be actually losing out to Shari K as he gets himself a double to start it off. The Reinhardt going to be making big plays for his team, going to be setting them up as Kinsey, Cooler, and Anik are just going to clean up the remaining members. Anik going to go ahead and secure himself a double kill. Got to say, good job by Overwatch King sacrificing in that situation so quickly, though. There isn't anywhere to jump off in this map, so you do either just need to get back or die as soon as possible. So they will only waste 30 seconds, but still, first attempt absolutely shut down by ANOX.
Yeah, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that, on the defensive, when they kite back, they're just grouped so well together. And right now, I think they're trying to go for big flank. But, man, Shatter takes down Rubicon, but I don't think that's enough. Shatter takes down Kenzie. Oh,
if he would have lived there and got that health pack, he would have done a lot there, but that reset, it was absolutely crazy. I have to agree with you. And Cypher now in the background pushing in against this Reinhardt. Tweety all alone, no one around to help him, and he's just sitting here like, please help me. Barrier comes out from Zarya, but that's just not going to do anything. It's not going to be enough. They're going to need more than that. Cypher's going to get himself double kill, and the defense is just continuing to clean it up as Cypher with the triple kill has definitely shown that they are able to dominate and control on this map. But it has definitely been multiple players also coming out from ANOX so far to maintain this defense.
Yeah, and I mean, that's obviously one of the bigger issues here, is because even though that looked like a one fight, remember that, ANOX won the first fight to begin with, so they had all the ultimates, and this Graviton Surge is so good right now. You can barely turn around, and they basically, go in for the death blast and know they're just going to get some initial damage, but KYB and in the background right now, they're just all caged in the back. Shatter 2K luckily still alive, but maybe they can hold the site. Shatter whiffs on everyone, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. The Graviton Surge might be the saving grace, though. Kinsey is going to get the Deadeye over the top. Not going to get any kills from it, though. And now we have Shatter going to be channeling that Dragon Blade, but goes down to Rubicon, who's now going to channel the Transcendence. And this could be devastating here for the offense, as they do have some members on here to fight it out. But there is going to also be the Sound Barrier to help them out, so maybe they can turn it around. But so far, Shatter and Clown getting the big kills for their team. Olba's going to be switching over to that Tracer as he's back on the point now, dealing tons of damage to this Reinhardt. And this is where Reinhardt has an incredibly hard time against Tracer, is you can't just keep that barrier up. Tracer can dash through it, dash around it, and just get in your face and get very annoying. But it looks like maybe, just maybe with this Lucio kiting, he might be able to survive. No, Cooler will go down to the pulse bomb and immediately going to go down as well as Kinsey, because Olba, great tracking from him. But Cypher, he comes in, makes a kill, but goes down in the end to Rib. And this might be Overwatch Kings taking the first point, but not at all with the ANOX giving it up without a strong fight to the end, not giving up in any measure as the charge in from the Reinhardt. Still, even as they are losing member after member, they're kind of bleeding, but they are stalling it out. Sharike able to buy another like 5-10 seconds there, as he does end up falling in the end. But Overwatch Kings will take the first point, but not without using a lot of the time on the clock already. They have gotten back exactly what they used, but 4 minutes now on the clock.
Man, that was actually super smart, buying some more time, because look at your ultimates on defense right now. ANOX now has Graviton Surge, Cypher has Death Blossom, Shark is so close to another Earth Shatter, and that was very smart, bought a lot of the time, and they know, hey, we bursted a lot of the ultimates from the offensive side. They don't have anything up right now, but now, I mean, now they have to be very careful, kite off the damage, and make sure Shatter does not go off like they did last time.
Oh, and this Graviton Surge could be absolutely huge. The flashbang over the top, but there is the Transcendence to counter it out, and that's exactly what you need to counter that. You need those defensive ultimates. You need to make that big play, and it looks like it's going to be enough so far. But Olba with the double kill on the pulse bomb saying, no, it's not enough. You're going to have to do more than that to actually win out here, as we're going to continue to push forward. Olba going to get himself a 4K, and that might be a team kill. No horn to punctuate it, but I'm pretty sure that was still 6 dead total, as the rest of the members are running back. I don't think anyone was able to escape that.
Man, I said to watch out for Shatter. Their entire team turned around just to get a one-man Earth Shatter to try stopping, and by that time they all turned around. There was no Reinhardt shield to block the Overwatch King's Earth Shatter in response.
The Graviton Surge going to go out. It looks like it's going to hit on 2. Shari charging into Tweety, and Tweety charging into Shari. They're both going to cancel each other out, but Olba with the pulse bomb going to take out Sharike. And to start off this fight, that's exactly what they need. Olba's going to get a second kill. And this right now, this is just the Olba show. Before, we were talking about Shatter, what he did against the side of Copenhagen Flames, but right now, when he's not doing everything that he was doing before, the kill feed says Olba. Although he goes down, Tweety and Rib are going to be able to clean up the rest of the fight and push forward. Ultimates, though, like you said, we were talking about the defense being in a good position. Shatter, 90% is going to actually take out Rubicon with the reset and continuing to push forward. Not even having time to talk about it. He's just going to go ahead and use the Dragon Blade, even though they have other ultimates available to combo with it. He's just going to go ahead and use it and push it forward. Like you said, they love to be greedy with those ultimates, and maybe this is exactly what you were talking about from the side of ANOX, backing off, letting those greedy ultimates go to waste.
Yeah, and I mean, ANOX, they do get away with the fact that Shatter no longer has ultimate, but the big problem right now is they're kind of not sitting on too much. If Cypher can build up to 100%, which he should do in this next big push, maybe he can do a huge turnaround and get the closing for that they need.
Well, we're going to stick on Olba here for a second, because when they took that second point, it was definitely off the back of his huge plays. He does have another pulse bomb available in just a second. There's going to be a Graviton Surge going out on, hitting on multiple. He should be able to channel up the pulse bomb, but unfortunately had to reload, but will go ahead and get it off regardless. Earth Shatter helped stalling that out a second longer, so he could do that. And he's going to make it a 3K. Can he make it a 5K as he's continuing to push forward? Shatter will take out Cypher, and Tweety takes out ANOX, and now there are no members left from ANOX. Cooler, Kinsei, Sharike. They're going to go from the left side and be able to get onto the point. Kinsei's going to be there for now. We're going to go into the overhead view as Shatter's going to channel that Dragon Blade, slicing and dicing, trying to get as many as he can, but it's not going to matter too much as there aren't really many left. Rubicon, though, with this Transcendence might give them that opportunity to fight it out. There is going to be the Graviton Surge comboed off, but the Transcendence lasts during all of it. So, can they continue to fight it off? ANOX will end up going down as he goes down to Olba. Tweety able to take out Rubicon as well. So now, with that Zenyatta down, there isn't going to be that orb. There isn't going to be that healing available. So it will be that much harder for them to continue to sustain off the back of this fight. But Sharike on this Mei, going to ice block up on the point, self-healing from that. Going to continue to fight it out. Does have the wall available to also give us a space to safely contest. But it's not going to matter. Overwatch Kings will take it in 6 minutes and 34 seconds.
I just want to chart to see how little Shatter has died. Shatter got out of there with like 10% HP right there to stay alive, and that's honestly the key. Olba is doing a great job though. Is on fire, is basically going through, and it's almost ridiculous how much work he's doing. Because let's say, for example, Shatter's getting picked off very early on. Olba is going in this Tracer and cleaning up a lot of the mess that's coming up behind it.
Yeah, and if they don't make those kind of plays and get that clean end there and that stall goes out, I mean, it might have been a situation where the defense could have been able to hold the entirety of the map, and then that 6:34 time would have been a progression-based time, and that just makes it that much harder for the offense to actually, or the defense to do their offense on the second time, the side of ANOX. But 6 minutes and 34 seconds is not the most impossible time to beat, but it is definitely going to be a pretty difficult time, and they're saying 6:38, but okay. I guess I was 4 seconds. I love how stopwatches do that sometimes. You start it perfectly on time, yet still they end up being wrong.
Can't even take you seriously right now.
See what they end up doing. here on the defense. Pretty standard, though. We haven't seen a Junkrat here on defense here in Hollywood, and that's really interesting. Yeah. Okay, that's what it is. So they're just adding that. Okay. 235, actually. Wouldn't that be the dream? Open the gates, auto win. But it is going to be the offense here coming out from the side of ANOX to try to beat this time. They do have to get their wits about them quickly. They're not going to have too many opportunities to make big mistakes here. Maybe about 6 or 7 of them. But after that, they have to be clean from that point on.
Yeah, and they're doing a very good thing of flanking behind, and this is great engage, cut the backline from the front line. They're going to go in and take advantage of the discord that's going on in general. Cypher immediately goes down, and so does Shark go down by Twitty, so this is actually a very interesting engagement. Kenzie trades out Twitty, and hopefully, man, they can keep up this performance. But Shatter 2K getting 2 very key kills on Rubicon and ANOX to kind of clarify. By 3rd kill on Cooler, man, Shatter 2K on Kenzie. This man is a freaking god. Wow, this is ridiculous.
We'll give him the emote clap moment, but nonetheless, that was definitely a huge play coming out of Shatter. Have to agree there. And what I was going to say is that triple tank aggression initiation was very clean, very effective, but they ended up having that Reaper in the background that could do a lot of damage, doing shredding that Winston at the end and shredding, of course, the Reinhardt as well. But we'll see if they can do it again. They aren't going to switch away from it. They are going to run the triple tank. Shari K is going to be the first kill as Kensei ends up taking out Tweety. Rubicon taking out Adatonian. They need this to happen, but Shatter's going to channel a Death Blossom inside a cafe. And that's the last place you want to be when a Reaper is spinning to win, is inside an enclosed space. And he's going to help pick up 3 kills. He's going to make it a 4th kill in the end by cleaning up Rubicon. Olba will help take care of Cypher. And now Shari K's at a huge risk here of being staggered in a big way. He will get pulse bomb, but they will actually end up just absorbing that with the Zarya charge. And now Olba's dead, and they don't have that pulse bomb. They don't have that tracer, and that aggression could bite them big time.
Yeah, and I mean, Shatter still isn't died yet. It's 52%, so he can go for another big flank right now. But this is all about whether or not Rubicon takes out Shatter, and that's really bad news. 150 DPS members go down. That Earth Shatter takes down nobody, so they can't kite out the rest of the fight. Good Transcendence to mitigate so much damage. Cypher just gets caught in that Graviton Surge and is unable to do anything, so he broke Dragon Blade for nothing.
Rib! He ends up getting a 4K on the Zarya out of his Graviton Surge. I mean, that's one of those moments as a caster. I love to feel that moment that Zarya can be her own follow-up. That the hero that is, she has so much setup for your team. She does so much for your team when you play her in that position. When you help bubble properly, you set up those Graviton Surge. But by God, when she is at that high charge, she can do so much. And Rib demonstrating that clearly. And now the threats are starting to pile up here for the side of ANOX. They have so much to worry about. They have to worry about Shatter. They have to worry about Rib. They have to worry about Adatonian. And what's going to end up happening here is they push forward here with the Sound Barrier. Shari K with an Earth Shatter could do a lot here, but he's taking a lot of damage. He's not able to get it down. He's going to go down to Shatter after 2 kills, though. So maybe the offense has bought themselves the advantage they need to win this trade outright as Rubicon picks himself a double kill onto Shatter and Adatonian. And Rubicon, I mean, we talked about it a few times today, but Zenyatta's can be huge impacts for their teams.
Yeah, if you land a Discord Orb and go for your headshots, you can definitely put out more damage than they believe. But that point cap for defense-wise was such a good hold, and they need to basically win this fight straight up in the streak phase. They can't lose any fights here.
Yeah, they really can. If they lose any of the fights, it will be basically GG. They have about maybe 1 or 2 mistakes that they can make, but there's barely 3 minutes left on the clock here. Transcendence is available, and there is going to be one for Adatonian as well. So basically parity in everywhere except for Cypher, who is going to have that Dragon Blade available over Shatter, who did just switch that Genji, and the offense isn't going to waste any time. They're just going to engage with the Earth Shatter and the Sound Barrier, but the counter Earth Shatter coming out from the offense is just looking strictly better. The Transcendence will attempt to counter out a lot of that and prevent any of the damage going out, but Cypher is going to have his own Transcendence to fight under as he is going to be fighting over Rubicon, but the Dragon Blade ends up getting no value, no kills, nothing at all, and Tweety ends up taking out ANOX. Olba onto Kensei. Shatter with the double kill. Shatter doesn't even need a Dragon Blade to get kills. You can just dash, you can just slash, you can just melee, and you can clean it up, and Shatter, with the second 4K of this map alone, is going to go ahead and set Overwatch Kings into a position where they only have to hold for 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Man, Shatter is making every Genji in the world feel just a little worse about how they play. But this man just stayed alive and it's dealt so much damage. Cypher, unfortunately, unshed the Dragon Blade the same moment Transcendence went down, so a lot of his damage was mitigated. But man, up front, you know, Cypher gets kited back by RYB, but Shatter's right there to follow him up, which makes sure that he doesn't get separated. Man, that engagement of those two need to work better. RYB and Shatter, if they go in together, they can really change this fight.
Well, there's the Graviton Surge with Cypher's Dragon Blade, but it looks like he got canceled out of it. I'm not exactly sure Shatter will end up going down. No, Cypher ended up pulling up his Dragon Blade later. It was actually Shatter that ends up going down, and he did die after the Dragon Blade was fully used, which means he's not going to have it. And just when he respawns, a Deadeye from Mobile going to go ahead and put any hopes that the offense had of converting this payload here gone, as they are going to have to regroup to go for another push, and this is getting closer and closer to the impossibility moment. 1 minute and 41 seconds, and we have to add 10 seconds or subtract for the doors opening, and that basically leaves 1 minute and 20 seconds here for the offense, and it might basically just be GG already. Overwatch Kings coming out pretty strong here on map 1, but definitely ANOX not looking like they are just going to lose this 3-0, that they have the fight in them to take it to the full 5 games.
Yeah, but Rubicon burns the Transcendence a little early, maybe a little earlier than they wanted to, but Cooler goes down the backline. Cypher takes down Olba, but this fight is still going on. The counter Transcendence and the counter Earth Shatter not really catching out anyone important, but CharYK tries to take down the Zenyatta, but gets taken down himself, and ANOX is just alone right now. This is not what you want. Your team is entirely divided, and then there just might not be enough time for this.
Yeah, and even if they end up winning those kills, I mean, honestly, it's gotten to the point where there's not enough time on the map, so Overwatch Kings can just go ahead and push forward, sacrifice themselves, go ahead and call GG's. We're a minute away, so it is that, unfortunately, that quasi part where we isn't necessarily worth it to wait for play the game, so we probably will just go beat back to lobby and get you guys the next match of action. But that is going to be the first map going to head and be summed up here, as it is Overwatch Kings taking it in a decently convincing manner, but at the same time, I think it's worth saying that Overwatch Kings took that map with a leg up over ANOX, but ANOX definitely had their moments. Their offense was very good towards the end of it, of point A, was definitely a lot better towards the beginning of point B, but when it came down to that offense that came out of Overwatch Kings, it was just not the same caliber as their defense. So this might just come down to a series that is going to be decided by the defensive holds, like you said, by those margins of if you can go ahead and trade out, you know, 4 kills on your CT side equivalent. Well, if you can buy an extra 2 minutes on your offense, that's all you need, or on your defense, that's all you need for your offense to go ahead and get going. But if it keeps being full holds, the opposite's going to be the case.
Yeah, and I agree. And the big problem is that it just came down to, you know, I hate harping on about this, but the DPS of Overwatch Kings just came out so strong. And that was kind of the big difference if you notice any of those team fights. It wasn't that, you know, like, oh, Shatter is like, oh man, this god among men, or that, you know, like, or like, you know, like Olba is like, you know, this master of a Tracer and McCree. I mean, they're both good, but the big problem was converting on these kills, staying alive, and putting out that constant damage. I mean, on the other side of ANOX, it just didn't seem like they could do the same thing. When Cypher got the Dragon Blades, oftentimes he was just completely mitigated and taking out the fight. Kenzie really needed to solo carry that entire thing, but that's not something you can do with only one DPS player. I mean, it's a little unlucky, admittedly, on the side of Cypher, but I guess that all comes down to, you know, Atonian basically, you know, countering a Tracking Blade completely with a Transcendence and being able to mitigate so much of that damage and basically, you know, postpone any additional pushes from the offense.
Yeah, and also when you look at the layout of Hollywood, I mean, it is really a Genji favored map, a Winston favored map, and the Genjis and the Winstons were doing a lot, and that ended up putting a lot of onus on the rest of the heroes to get their work done, and the Zenyatas were having a really hard time. We kept saying it over and over again: Transcendence used early, Transcendence used late, Transcendence used in an awkward situation, because they just couldn't hold on to it the way they wanted to. Kings Row, though, going to give a little bit more of some pockets for the supports to set up, give them those opportunities, and maybe, just maybe, that'll be a good sign for ANOX, because I gotta say that so far in the Zenyatta duels, it's definitely been Rubicon picking up more kills and more damage.
Yeah, Rubicon actually used to play on the old 4-2-5 team, which was I want to say a Ukrainian or Russian team, but he was known for his Zenyatta even back in the day. But this engage right now, they're just peeling back. They're trying to get anything. Rubicon takes out Olba, which is huge already. We lose DPS that fast early.
Oh, it's horrible to watch for him. He jumps down, rolls into the shots, ends up going down. But the charge, Rubicon That's even more unfortunate to watch as he basically runs into the charge. Saw that the entire distance. Tweety gonna get the second kill with the Fire Strike, going through basically 4 heroes, and it ends up hitting the Winston at the end. He's gonna go ahead and go for the prediction on to Clown, but won't end up hitting him. Kinsey is gonna take out Adatonian with Olba finally getting himself a kill after that situation. And you know what? It's been an interesting story this series so far. After looks like Cypher is gonna go down, but Olba keeps starting McCree and doing all right. And I gotta say, I definitely think his McCree is incredibly strong, but he just immediately switches to Tracer every single time, and it seems like the Tracer is working better for him. Maybe it's worth it to start the opposite. Start Tracer, switch McCree.
Yeah, so there's 2 arguments for that, right? I think that starting McCree might be good if they engage instantaneously, having that flashbang up, and the moment you die, you want to get back onto the site, you want to contest it, so going back to Tracer makes more sense there. But man, that defensive, you know, drop the beat is kind of just enough to mitigate so much of the damage. Cypher is just alone right now. Cypher, just get out of there, stay alive, try to build up. I mean, he has ultimate right now, just keep it alive, don't die, and man, a lot of this fight is going to... And Kenzie switches off onto Reaper, obviously not satisfied with what, I guess, McCree was doing, but he switches off at 91%, which I think is very admirable. I think they're going to try see if they can take down a lot of the big tank threats, which is what they're going for right now. But man, this is going to be a competition of who is able to better optimize their ultimates.
Well, and first there's going to be the Graviton Surge coming out from the defenses. They're going to get 2 kills off the back of it. Shatter and Olba with the Pulse Bomb. I believe that was with that Pulse Bomb. Already charging up quite a bit of ultimate, and it looks like they are going to just go ahead and clean it up. No team kill horn, unfortunately, sounded for us, but it was a very clean use of the ultimates. But I will say, like you've said earlier on in the cast and brought it up very rightfully so many times, when you lose a fight like that, fine. We lost the fight. Back up. Now the offense. 5 ultimates as they push in here. Dragon Blade available, and Cypher's going to go ahead and channel that right now. We're going to switch over to him to see what he can get done as the Graviton Surge in the background catches 2, and Cypher's just able to dash and slash everywhere he wants. There's no one on the defense with any abilities to really kind of negate this. No defensive ultimates, no sound barrier, no nothing. And Cooler, well, he's still got his in his back pocket, so they're going to go ahead and push forward, still with the sound barrier, still with the Primal Rage, and soon to be a Death Blossom. So very good play from ANOX there in the end to hold and have that long-term thinking, but it took them a minute and a half.
Yeah, and I mean, this is really smart from the side of, you know, holding on to so many ultimates, because I guarantee that Overwatch Kings is not counting what they currently have. So they might be gauging right into a trap. But man, takes out Cooler and ANOX, the 2 ultimate holders. So I guess that doesn't really even matter at the end of the day. But man, let's hope they can get the reset on offense to kind of try to push through and push through this street phase relatively.
Oh, if they could stagger Cypher, that would be really big. And they will end up staggering him. Wraith Form immediately used by Shatter to go ahead and get out of the sticky situation. But buying more time is the side of Overwatch Kings, as 3 minutes and basically 15 seconds has gone by, and the payload has just gotten through the archway of the streets phase, giving the defense good positioning. There are definitely 2 to 3 solid positions that the defense can use a standard setup here, but the initiation comes in from the Winston. That's what we're waiting to see, as Anik is also just going to channel the Primal Rage right off the back of that charge from Treaty. It looks like it is going to hit on the Cooler and take him out after he uses his ultimate, though, so they did get the sound barrier off, and now Rubicon able to take out Shatter, but the defense is winning this trade so far. Adatonian able to get himself another kill as he's going to get knocked down, Shattered down, and now Cypher, without the Dragon Blade needed, able to get himself 1 kill with the help of his teammates, being able to get his second one. Rubicon able to take out Rib, and now the payload moving forward closer and closer to that second point. Overwatch Kings in a very, very good spot, but they need to get into an even better one if they want to take a very clean offense, or honestly just not have to worry about the stopwatch.
Yeah, Shatter 2K tried for another 2K IQ play when he went for the big flank, but the moment he jumped down, instantaneously, Cooler dropped that, dropped the beat, so a lot of his damage, or at least the opportunity he was looking for, was very mitigated and couldn't hold off with that. But for some reason, Kenzie still gets caught out, Rubicon gets caught out, and they just need to back up here. Hey, go back, return, and try to group up together and hopefully make the rest of this push.
They might be able to also take out the Reinhardt, and honestly, that's a situation where, like you said, it is a very bad to be staggered like this in such a prolonged situation. Not only are the original 2 deaths already just going to be getting back right now, but now Reinhardt is just spawned and is just going to be getting back in position to set up with his team.
Yeah, on the plus side, Cypher does have ultimate, which should be the game plan they play around, but on the defense right now, Transcendence and Death Blossom. This is almost a perfect disengage composition.
Oh, but they are just going to go for the engage with the Shatter 2K Death Blossom, getting himself not 1 kill, but 2. Kinsey, Anik both going down. Now Shatter going to get himself a 3rd kill as he continues to push forward with teammates by his side, and they're going to go ahead and shoo off the rest of ANOX's offense. There's no chance that they're going to be able to take the point here, at least on this offense. They're going to have to regroup and get back to the drawing board and figure out what's been working and what hasn't been working. And you know, honestly, they were aware of that was about to happen. I'm sure that the call was made by Cypher to say, hey guys, there's a Reaper on the opposite high ground. Be ready for the Death Blossom. But nonetheless, he gets huge value out of it.
Yeah, and right now they have the opportunity to turn this fight around from the offensive side. All they need is Shark to land a great Earth Shatter, and Cypher just follow. Kenzie takes down RYB, which is already one part of the solution right now. And they're going to the back line. Kenzie takes out Twitty as well, which is a really good Transcendence popped up, but they're waiting for the Transcendence to finish. And man, that's a great Earth Shatter. Catches why Oba. Shatter 2K goes to down, and then Tonian goes down from Coolers. That's a very good fight. They waited out the Transcendence, and the moment that Transcendence is over, they Earth Shattered, and that was able to bring them the victory.
And I mean, ANOX, it's got to be said again, their beginning offenses are looking very shaky, but towards the end they're definitely rallying together and working it out. However, now they've left themselves with a very, very suspect position. Only 2 minutes and 40 seconds remain to push the rest of the map, and even if they take it, it is going to be close to a 7-minute time at the very least right now. Deadeye is going to be channeled by Kensei as they initiate in, but an Earth Shatter from the defense going to go ahead and cancel that out. Big plays coming out as they continue to push forward. Clown's going to continue to cart dance, going to go ahead and Sound Barrier. Not sure exactly if I agree with that usage, but nonetheless, they are going to push forward and try to stagger Cypher. It shouldn't end up happening, as it looks like they will end up staggering Cooler just for a little bit longer. And Cypher, actually, as I say that, he ends up going into Wraith form, barely surviving, sub 31 HP.
Kenzie takes out Oba, which is huge right here. Basically, now the offense has an opportunity with staggered 5v6. Shatter 2K IQ play right there. Jumps down, but has to kite back and dies instantaneously. I think he was looking for maybe not that Transcendence to be hit, or maybe tried to adjust in that small interval right when the defense didn't have any ultimates. But the offense right now still hold on to a lot of game-changing ultimates. They have had their management on point right now.
They really have. And now Oba with this Deadeye could get a lot done. Multiple skulls highlighting up. They just need to take care of that barrier, but they're just going to go ahead and charge in with Shatter's Death Blossom. It ends up getting nothing done. And now Cypher, close to his own Death Blossom, could get a lot of done, as they do have the counter Deadeye to the counter to the Deadeye that just ended up happening, as that is going to get one kill, taking out Oba. Rib is going to get charged off the map, and an Earth Shatter comes out from the defense to try to continue to fight it out. Cypher waiting for the moment to use this Death Blossom, and he's just going to rip it out on top of everyone's head of the defense. And 3 kills total. Make it 4, as Tracer's going to end up inevitably dying. There's no way that she could get out of that situation. D.Va going to go ahead and try to charge forward, as they do also have the Mei wall to go ahead and prevent a lot of the angles that the offense has to pick off the defense as they push forward to try to get on the payload, but it might not matter at all as the Clown goes down. Last member of the defense is really just the Tracer, as Shatter is going to have to recall. Will be taking a lot of damage, will go down, and now it's going to be back to D.Va if she can boost back in time, but it doesn't look like it's going to end up happening, as the time is going to be 8 minutes and 9 seconds. And I was just alerted about the desync issue, guys. Unfortunately, I have updated the version. I have been using the version that is supposed to be solving the issue, and I don't think it's had any desync issues till now. So it's really unfortunate, and I apologize. There's nothing that I can strictly do to change the desync as it is. I've done everything that I possibly could beforehand, as far as, you know, using the updated version, going through all the fixes. So hopefully it stabilizes itself. Attempt to restart, restarting your own streams, refreshing the page, and hopefully that fixes it. But again, guys, I apologize. Oh, BS, please stop doing this. But 8 minutes, 9 seconds. Very, very, very good offensive time, or very, very, very good defensive time is what I wanted to say. Only having 51 seconds left on the map to go ahead and use. But, it's something where they do have to worry about the stopwatch. Basically, at the end of the second point, they really do need to be looking at what the time is left on the clock and whether or not they have a meaningful time left to actually take the point. And of course, that's going to rely, like you have said multiple times early on, early takes, early aggression, early effectiveness is going to dictate a lot of the tempo of their offense, and whether or not they have all that time to actually work with, or if it comes down to, you know, minute or two left on the stopwatch.
Yeah, well, basically what I'm trying to think about here is what they should do on offense to really try to beat that time. Honestly, I think the keys to victory from the side of Overwatch Kings right now, Shatter needs to stay alive for them first engage. It's fine if you lose that first engage, but he needs to build that percentage. I think if he gets 70%, I would be happy for the first engage, even if he doesn't win. But from what it looks like, I think they might be trying to slow push, which might be a good solution. I think right now the defense is set up in a way where they're expecting a very fast push, but they can slow down, build up the ultimates, and try to just get Shatter an opportunity to put out the backline. I think they're in a good place.
Wow. Let's see if they can get their offense going here, get in that back line, as it looks like Shatter's going to end up going down to Kensei, and that's the opposite of what they wanted, as the Kensei needed, or they needed to take out those supports. Cooler did go down, so is Cypher. So they have gotten themselves some beginning kills to go ahead and help out. And maybe with the fact that, honestly, Sharike is in a very bad spot right now as he's very about half HP. Barrier going to be down. And the offense, they're on the point. They're forcing the defense into a situation where they have to push forward.
Man, everything I said just went down the drain when Oba 3 kills, and that's just how good their DPS is. But they can have one person just come up, show up, and win this point. And they're pushing them back specifically because they know they want to stagger this opening so much. That payload coming out of the, I guess, the garage and into this is actually one of very slow animations, meaning it actually gives you the defense a lot of time to get it back and set into position. So if they actually push out into the second streak phase and is able to abuse that fact that, hey, it's pushing out slowly, we don't need to be there anyway, they can actually force the defense in a situation where they're not ready to get set up. As you can see right here, Cypher's not even on that big flank position. Shatter's just up there and has divided the team. So right now, if they engage on the offense, I think they actually can win this fight.
Well, we'll see here. Olba's going to go ahead and get the first kill onto ANOX. Again, he's just found Shatter's number. He's just taking him out time after time again, as Olba's going to end up taking out Cypher. And that's going to be big for them, as they do need to continue taking out those damage threats. But of course, next needs to be Kinsei, as he's just been an absolute nuisance, to say the least, for the side of Overwatch Kings. Whether or not he goes down here, we'll find out in a second. But the defense has kind of lost ground, and they are ceding the final corner here, as Sharike is going to go down to an aggression from Olba as he pushes forward with that flashbang fan, taking out that Reinhardt, that barrier, that protection. Adatonian going to be going forward with the Transcendent. Shatter going to be having access to that Dragon Blade. Now he's going to go ahead and rip it out. That's going to be big kills here. As he ends up taking out Rubicon, who was doing a lot of damage for his team throughout this entire match. He ends up helping taking out Kinsei. And now ANOX all alone in the background with Cypher going to be cleaned up as Olba gets himself a 3K of left clicks. Don't even really need Deadeye, really, if you can land shots like that. He might end up going down, though, as he ends up taking a lot of damage here from that. Zenyatta will get bubbled off to remove that Discord, and the offense has more than enough time to work this last point.
Oh man, the fact that Oba was able to do all that without Deadeye is ridiculous. Kenzie tries to get sped up here, but the Graviton Surge cages in, but they're all behind the Reinhardt shield. I don't think anything's going to be able to happen. So much of the early damage. But man, Cooler, Oba, and that great Earth Shatter definitely changing the fight around a lot more. Man, the offense needs to back up right now. Shatter 2K switched onto the Tracer, trying to get onto the point and being able to maybe output a little more damage. I think he might be going back to change because I think he wanted to. Now he's going to stick with the Tracer and they're going to regroup and try again.
Well, I mean, the nice thing about Tracer over Genji is, of course, she can counter that Transcendence, whereas, of course, that Dragon Blade does absolutely nothing to Transcendence. It's just not enough damage over the HPS. The burst damage from that pulse bomb could do a lot. We'll see, though, as he's not that really close to it at all. He's going to have to try to charge it up, and then I already used the Graviton Surge, so that's out of the window. Deadeye is going to be used by Olba here, so he's going to be able to take out Sharike. And in the background, there's this Zarya once again on decent charge, trying to fight it out. Of course, that's ANOX. Going to be getting back up to about 50% charge, and now pushing forward to 70% charge. He's going to actually take out Rib. Big kill there. Zarya not going to be able to get the bubbles out for the offense. Olba's going to be able to take out Rubicon. So kill by kill, the offense seems to be pushing forward finally. A Shatter did end up going down, but Olba goes down to Cypher. The defense fighting it back every single step of the way as the offense makes a play. So does the defense. And the payload stays where it is. Overwatch Kings on the precipice of the lead, taking a 2-0 lead in this best of 5 and going up match point. But they do have to convert the payload even though the time is on their side.
This is how cool that little when Cypher wraithed in was. He basically made it look like he had Death Blossom, which baited out a defensive drop the beat ultimate to kind of try to predict it, mitigate a lot of early on damage. But right now the offense doesn't actually have Lucio ult anymore, meaning they're missing a very, very key engage tool, while the defense has more time to build it up.
And with the Flashbang Earthshatter combo available for the defense, it could do a lot more here as the offense does not have that Earthshatter to counter that out, but Deadeye from Olba could be exactly what they need as the charge through is going to cancel the barrier. ANOX is going to go down. Would have died to the charge anyways, but nonetheless, that's going to help secure the kill. We are going to have the Earthshatter come out and on not one, but two. And the Transcendence, quite a bit late from Adatonian, I gotta say, as they were already losing the fight when he channeled the Transcendence, was trying to get those members back alive who were Earthshattered. But now, wasting even more time on the clock, we go to the stopwatch and we see 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining on it. And Overwatch Kings is starting to feel a little bit of pressure here, as there isn't going to be an infinite amount of time left for them to go ahead and take this. There wouldn't be anyways, but nonetheless, having that stopwatch over the game time is going to make the pressure mount up just that little bit more here for Overwatch Kings.
Yeah, well, Shatter's back on the Genji, so I'm just kind of confused where the hesitation is coming from. Man, Sharike takes down Olba, and then Kenzie takes down Twitty, and for the offense. Shatter gets the kill on Shark though, but is that going to be enough? I mean, Shatter needs to get another kill and gets another kill on Rubicon, which is the perfect target he needs to hit. Defensive drop the beat, and Kenzie just gets taken down by Shatter.
That's basically a team kill.
Kenzie was channeling that Deadeye, and man, Shatter just went in and was like, and then just took it away from him. But ANOX, man, that Earth Shatter wasn't great. Shatter does get his life traded in by by SharYK, and that great Earth Shatter takes everyone down. And right now, it's just Cooler on his own. He needs to get onto the site right now before they can cap, and that's just not enough.
And as you guys can see, more than 2 minutes left on the clock, so we'll be Overwatch Kings taking an early match point in this best of 5, 2-0 over the side of ANOX. But kind of what I wanted to say as well is when they lost early on, they lost, oh God, I remember brain is blanking. It's been a decently long cast today, but the Genji on the offense for Overwatch Kings at the end, it wasn't Olba, it was, no, Shatter. There we go. Of course, it's Shatter. But Shatter ended up dying really, really early on in that fight, and that could have ended up going very bad for them. They didn't have that Genji blade. He had it active, but Olba ends up getting some huge kills. And once again, I mean, we go back to this discussion of supports making an impact. Zenyatta is basically another damage threat when left alive, and Adatonian got himself, I believe, 2 kills to end that last fight of the last like 6 or 7 that was taken by the offense as they moved forward. So it's so important, and I think it's always worth beating that dead horse into the ground, and to the point where it just isn't talked about anymore, because frankly speaking, Zenyatta and supports, they make a huge difference in these games. But Zenyatta, the reason he's so powerful and why it's a Zenyatta meta is your Zenyatta player, when he's an FPS player, can literally do what your DPS players are doing while healing, and there's no unique trade-off. Harmony Orb does not trade off with damage. It's not like when you have Harmony and Discord out, you do less damage. So you can still do everything that a Zenyatta needs to while healing.
Yeah, and just to stress even more, I don't know how good, like, what's going on right now with the Genji play, but Shattered 2K is making such a big difference. Honestly, I don't like his Tracer play too much, because I just feel like he doesn't have the difference making playmaking abilities on that Tracer. I think that maybe they were honestly just trying to get on the point, trying to cap and try to force momentum, but he switched back to Genji, and even without Dragon Blade, he's been getting a lot of really solid kills, which is over what they need. And I think honestly, this is why Shatter's Genji is so strong, is because it's creating space. It's not so much where it's like, oh man, like he's getting triple kills all the time, but the fact is, when teams have to focus him and they're required to basically say like, oh man, Shatter's on Genji again, we have to basically turn around and Earth Shatter only him to win. Basically, what that does is that gives Olba a lot more room to go and do his thing. It gives RYB the ability to do what he needs to, and that gives essentially everyone on the team of Overwatch Kings more room to do exactly what they need to do.
Yeah, and honestly, I'd also like to point out, I mean, this is like a big topic for me in the sense of MOBAs. You always talk about cores, farm, whatever, but there's always this idea of dual threats, or dual, like diversifying your threats is the best way to put it. If you only have one DPS to focus on, you only have to worry about over here Cypher on this Genji, then of course Kensei on the Reaper is never going to get as much done, because they're not going to have to worry about him. You need to have both DPS be threats so that they can focus, so that there's more attention to be needed from the other team to deal with it all. But Cypher's going to take out Olba as Adatonian takes out ANOX. Kensei is going to take out Clown in a back-for-back trade as the offense seems to be winning this so far. Tweety is going to be still alive, and that's going to give them that damage block to keep them at decent HP to continue to fight through, as Cooler will end up going down to Adatonian, who ends up getting 3 kills by the end of that fight to punctuate the point we led into this map that Zenyatta's can do a lot.
Yeah, honestly, this is kind of a little bit of the worrying part about this specific part of the map. So oh no, let's just go, let's wait until it's out of this fight, but Shatter is able to reflect all initial damage. Cypher goes in and tries to get a kill, can't really get anything. Cooler is able to take down Olba, but it gets traded in return, and that is just a clean fight from Overwatch Kings. But going back to that initial first point is so hard for the defense to defend, because you need to be grouped up together. If you're scattered, the offense can take advantage of the fact that no one's grouped together, and because the offense inherently is going to be around the payload itself, they know they have at least 3 people in one area, and they can force the fact that you guys are all over the place. Like, there's just not a lot of communication going on between the members, and take advantage of that to win.
Looks like Rib is going to get forced off of the high ground here before they can secure control of it, which is something that needs to happen here for ANOX, as they're in a very awkward position, already being down the first point, barely 2 minutes into the map. Rib is still going to have access to that Primal Rage as well, so both Transcendents are going to go out now, and it's going to get fixed up, and the overlay should be fixed, guys. Of course, it'll take a minute and a half because of the delay, but Shatter gets himself a kill onto Cypher, SharYK onto Clown, And so far, it looks like the defense is finally able to get their foot in the sand, draw that line, and say, no, Overwatch Kings, no more. So we can go ahead and stabilize, get our own plan going, get our own offense going. And their ultimate position in charge is in a pretty good situation. They do have the pulse bomb available for Kensei. They have another offensive ultimate from that Dragon Blade, and they have the setup ultimate to combo it up with that Earth Shatter.
Honestly, I'm just here to watch the disengage happen, and that's exactly what they should. Hey, use the Earth Shatter to disengage rather than engage. You want to make sure they can go in, and never mind. But they whip on Shatter. 2K Shatter's still alive and start dealing damage in the back line.
And now Shari's going to have to worry about that entire time. He has to keep his barrier to him because the amount of damage that Shatter can just do to himself or do to him himself. As Cypher with the Dragon Blade is able to change this around, as Shatter is going to go flying off the cliff, and Shari ends up throwing a fire strike at his corpse, saying, "Alright guys, alright, you got away. That's not good enough for me."
Yeah,
but
this is the issue. They weren't really able to bait out that many ultimates on the side of the offense. The offense right now is sitting pretty right now. They have, they're going to have Pulse Bomb. They're going to have, like Primal Rage. They're going to have Graviton Surge as well as, drop the beat, so the sound barrier. But now that great Graviton Surge cages them all inside right now. Oh man, and that's just gotta be rough. Shatter 2K and Oba with a great Pulse Bomb, just taking down everyone. This is just...
And they didn't have the Transcendence, they didn't have the sound barrier, they didn't have anything to negate that damage, so even though it didn't end up being the biggest kills, the biggest trade-off, it still gets enough that they continue to push the payload, and that's how these games work out too. When you're on the offense, when you have a numbers advantage, or you're tied 3-3 on the skirmishes, it takes so much more for the defense to actually contest. Pulse Bomb going to be going out as Kensei gets himself a double kill! Who needs setup when you can just land big Pulse Bombs? As he's going to go ahead and get those. Shari going to push forward with the Cypher and get themselves pairs of kills, as Shatter says, okay, well, we lost the fight again. I know exactly where I'm going. Straight to the bottom of the cliff. And that was going to be his way.
Yeah, great discipline from the defense right now. Still keeping ultimates. They knew they didn't have to panic because, Kensei was able to get, 2 kills without really burning too much on the defensive side. So they have the 2 reactive ultimates. And unfortunately for the offense, they have a minute left and not really any big ultimates that can be seen. Both, both uses of Lucio and Zenyatta are far from being completed. So right now, defense, all they need to do is act reactively, and I think they should be able to hold his point.
Well, Kensei's in a really good position as well. They haven't really noticed him, as he is going to be around on the side. The Dragon Blade is going to be pulled out, but it's under a Transcendence. Actually, no, Adatonian, sorry, that was the defensive there. Just going to go ahead and use Cypher's Dragon Blade, as he ends up getting a 4K. So Cypher, able to use that Dragon Blade, get quite a few kills, and now the defense, well, they didn't end up using anything else, actually, and that's why I was kind of confused. I was like, well, it didn't look like they're using the ultimates, but they will just go ahead and use just the Dragon Blade to go ahead and clean up the offense, and that's really what you want to do in an ideal situation. You talked about it a bunch today, and definitely brought it up a fair bit. Defense has to stagger the ults to continually hold the point.
Yeah, and oh man, that Pulse Bomb goes off, and they managed to kill Twitty with that in the back. My Cypher's able to kill you. Great, I guess that was a defensive drop the beat, but that was able to clear up the fight enough.
Now Cypher again going to help clean it up as he decapitates Olba off the back of that dash, resetting it, and yeah, that Pulse Bomb doing so much damage. They just weren't ready for that. And now 36 seconds remain here for the side of Overwatch Kings and ANOX. It's a long climb up for the rest of the series. They're going to have to win the series 3-0 without dropping a single map. And of course, Overwatch Kings still has yet to play this map, so we have no idea what they can end up doing. But right now, based on what's going, ANOX looking very comfortable here on Dorado. Cypher's going to get himself not 1, but 2. Make it 3, as he's going to continue to dash, reset, dash, reset, dash, reset. And Tweety, he doesn't want to fall off. He knows that he needs to fight it out. He knows that he needs to get something done, but it's not going to happen. There's no one alive. There's no one in the area to back him up, and Reinhardt is only as strong as the heroes around him, as they will go ahead and use the Transcendence to guarantee the proc of overtime, but not going to matter. Shari K ends up taking out Adatonian after Cypher takes out Cloud. No more defensive ultimates remain for the offense, as they are just going to use the Primal Rage. Pulse Bomb going to help clean that up, and now the overtime is going to continue to tick and faster, as that will be a hold on the second point. About halfway through, I believe, is the farthest point they got the payload, about to the beginning of the stairwell, but that is still not the greatest distance to work with. They basically have the first point and part of the second point to work with here on the defense, and if they at all mess up and cede any tempo, it could just be the end of the match to start it off with.
Yeah, honestly, it kind of sucks to say this, but Shatter needed to be on that Genji for the last cleanup. But this is what I'll say, is that honestly, what made it very difficult in this situation was the main fact that ANOX was so good at managing their ultimates. And this is how disciplined they are. At that last moment, K still had Earth Shatter. And that just blows my mind that he was able to hold it for that long, didn't come out. And even though they were able to say, like, oh man, this team fight could be relatively close, they were able to only use one ultimate or two ultimates to get that team wipe, reset, and know, hey, we have someone else in the background who's building up ultimate charge. And by the time we need it, it'll be up. So that's a very good discipline from that side of the team. And I think that greatly contributed to how well they were able to hold.
Do you think they can translate that into their offense? I mean, there are definitely ways that they can go about it, but I mean, is it a situation where you think, I mean, I kind of put you out on the line here, prediction here, do you think that ANOX has it in them to go ahead and actually take the offense to the end? Because last time this happened, it was on the very first map, both teams ended up full holding, but it was the side of Overwatch Kings that ended up getting the slightly better defensive hold.
I mean, this is kind of where it relies on, right? Is this first push right here. This first push has the ability to last for so long in the case they're able to hold the choke point, right? Because there's very few entrances that are safe, and they're able to hold this very well. And I mean, the meta currently is, you let them push it up to the bridge and you try to control this last few parts. But on the defense, what Overwatch Kings really needs to do is stay grouped together. If they get, like separated, all of a sudden this map becomes their enemy, because there's so many high grounds, there's so many different levels on this map that it becomes very hard to communicate and group together. If they can stay together on this high ground, and control other exits, I think they'll be in a good place.
Well, Overwatch Kings, the first set of high ground that they're going to need to control is, of course, Big Earl. Is such a good place to set up. You're naturally controlling your own entrance, as it is in the far back. You control the back catwalk and you control the flanks. But now is the matter of if they can actually use that control to their advantage. The offense rounding the corner as ANOX here down 0-2 in the series, needs to get something done on this map. The onus is on them, as they are going to be on their lifeline here. As it looks like Cypher is going to get the first kill of the map. He's going to take out Olba, and ANOX going to end up taking out Anatonian, and this is the beginning of that. This is that tempo that they needed. 4-0. Are they going to make it a clean 6-0? It is. ANOX makes Overwatch Kings look like fools. They're on that point. Is not a single hero was really even under threat of dying in that situation. They maybe got one hero down low, maybe two, but that clean initiation from ANOX was exactly what you were calling for.
I don't even know why they engaged there. They had the high ground. They're out the big points, and now they're trying to stall out the point by getting onto the payload and just swing and just try to melee their way through the victory. Shatter2k needs to get this kill on Shark, otherwise it's going to be for naught. He Wraith forms out, and luckily, oh man, Cypher gets that Dragon Blade just in time. But great, defensive Earth Shatter. Too bad it's not enough, and honestly, I think that was a little bit of a waste right there.
Yeah, it might have been a pretty big waste there. It is a situation where they're losing tempo, they're losing map quickly, and now they're going to have these long spawns, this long run, and the payload is just continuing to advance forward. The doors have not quite finished opening, so that is giving the defense those moments that they need. But is it going to be enough? Kensei is pushed very far forward here, trying to buy those extra valuable seconds for the defense to get, our offense to get set up on the high ground, get that high ground control. But so far, defense will have definitely at least one more good look to try to set up their defense, their hold, their time, as ANOX is going to end up taking out Olba, and then Shatter finally starts answering his Anatonian and takes out Kensei. And this is exactly what they need. We are on Rubicon right now as he's in the background doing a lot of damage. Cypher's going to end up getting a kill after he gets charged and taken out by Tweety, and so it now remains on the two supports and the Zarya. And of course, one of those supports is a Zenyatta, so the amount of damage that could be done to clean this up could be huge. Could actually just end up outright winning this, as they are going to go for the shots onto Kensei, taking out the double kill. Every single target that is discorded up is just taking absolutely huge amounts of damage. ANOX will end up taking out Cloud, and so far, this is exactly what ANOX fans were looking for. Overwatch Kings, they are going in one by one, not getting the trades, not getting the damage. Transcendence just going to be rushed out because they don't really have any other choice. 3.88 meters separates them, and an instant win in this series for the 3-0. Shari K is going to go ahead and get a kill, and so does Cypher. The Earth Shatter is going to be there, but it's not enough, and ANOX will finally go ahead and tie up, or not tie up, but go ahead and get on the map, on the score, on the series, as they take the Dorado, or sorry, the Route 66. But still, it's still 2-1 in favor of Overwatch Kings, and we haven't really brought it up too much yet. But when you're in this situation, you can't make any more mistakes. They have to continue doing exactly what they're doing in Cypher, man. This is exactly what you want to be seeing out of your Genji player.
Yeah, I mean, I called out Cypher a little bit earlier for, you know, not really being so smooth on the Genji, but he's woke up and he's back right now with a vengeance. I will say this, though. This does seem like a map that, you know, Overwatch Kings does not look like they have a lot of practice on. This might be an ANOX, you know, like a pocket pick map that they're running, because I rarely see Route 66. You know, it seems like, honestly, it's a relatively short map, and it honestly feels like on offense, at least, Overwatch Kings just kind of didn't really know what to do. And if you kind of look at the way that, you know, ANOX was able to execute on offense, they were just able to kind of stick together and deathball their way to victory. But, you know, it's a little frustrating, I guess, on the side of, you know, Overwatch Kings, that you can't obviously sweep your opponents. But, you know, the next map could be, you know, a decider. So let's see what we're going to next.
Yeah, I believe it should be Gibraltar. Why do I want to think Gibraltar? Let me scroll up here. Okay, it's going to be Numbani. And then, of course, if we need it, we will be going to Temple of Anubis for the last map. So pretty standard lately as far as it's been going in that respect. Lots of teams been preferring to go to those maps, even though the general sentiment would be against those maps. There definitely has been a recent, not uprise, but a recent preference towards those maps from some of the teams. And I mean, the interviews from Rogue, from Reinforce, at the very beginning of the tournament, they said it, you know, 2CPs, it's something that the European teams practice a lot. So it is something that the NA scene has not really caught on to as far as keeping up with the practice on it, keeping up with the strategizing of it. But the 2CP, if we end up going to it, could be a very interesting place to decide this. Numbani, however, is where we'll start the discussion with. In your opinion, I mean, I guess the default, you know, thing to bring up from the analyst perspective is, you know, point A. It's very, very, very one-sided in the sense that you either take it as the offense outright, you dominate, you win, or you're the defense and you have that nice high ground control. You have the double catwalk that you can manipulate and abuse there. But I mean, in your opinion, do you think that there are any specific compositions right now that are just outright better on this map when it comes to the offense to deal with the potential setup that the defense can use?
I wouldn't say there's anything necessarily really strong. I do think that, you know, having Genji and is so much easier in terms of being able to at least scout out early and getting around some of these, you know, these hardcore setups. But I think a majority of what's going on here is just to execute onto the site. Cloud9 has been trying some really, really funky stuff on this map, where they like try to take your high ground by rushing in like into the site, and not even to take it, but to get up the stairs and challenge the high ground here. So it's about setup, and it's about, you know, not getting taken by surprise. There are a lot of ways you can get cheesed on this map, whether it be, you know, symmetric turrets, or whether even be running a Torbjorn, honestly. But with that being said, I mean, it's going to be about how they execute, because if they're able to take that first point very quickly on the first, honestly, I think on the first push alone, then they'll be in a great place to kind of transition that lead to somewhere else. I think once you start getting past that first push, second and third, it just gets hard to hold these. The defense is relatively safe on this map overall, and also is able to generate ultimates to really, you know, make your lives a lot harder.
Okay. Do you think that because the one strategy that I think is like very uniquely different, you bring up Cloud9, they're one of the only teams that have really brought out Bastion on attack on this map, and of course that is a bit of a sure-for specialty. But I mean, how do you rate that? Is it purely just like a cheese composition, or do you think that there is a lot more merit to it? I mean, and no way trying to downplay the strategy, because at the end of the day, it is a pocket pick. It could surprise people, but I mean, getting a Bastion set up on that left side high ground up those stairs with a Reinhardt can be very devastating. You know, do you think it's something that more teams will start attempting as a, like, you know, out of the gate strategy that you swap off of, or?
Honestly, I think having a Bastion on the left side is broken. The main reason why is because when you're entering the site, you go through one of two ways, right? You either enter into the main way, or you go through the left side and try to go for a flank. If you position Bastion on the upper, kind of like the upper right side when you enter into the site, and kind of have it up there, or even have it in like the middle of the choke point, what you basically enable is, you know, you force your tanks, the enemy tanks, to kind of try a different approach, right? Because they can't Reinhardt shield their way up there, they can't Winston shield their way up there, and they're kind of forced to have their flankers deal with you, which means that it sends Genji into close quarters. And if you can prepare for that push from the Genji or from the Tracer, I think you can punish the offensive DPS.
Well, we'll see. As they don't end up doing the Bastion strategy, they will be doing more of what you're saying. The Genji, the Tracer, the D.Va. They won't be running... Oh, they will be running a triple tank, actually. Solo support, looking at their lineup, it is going to be a very, very aggressive start, but Shatter is going to go ahead and take out ANOX to begin it all, as Tweedy ends up taking out another, and the kill feed already going a fair bit in favor of the defense. I say that, and Cypher picks up a pair of kills himself, but it might not be enough here, as they're already down 3 heroes forward the side of ANOX. Make it 4 as Cypher goes down himself. So Overwatch Kings have stabilized here on the point to begin with. The first 45 seconds going in their favor. And definitely what the defense really wants here on Numbani is that beginning stall, that momentum that they basically can just continue to feed off of using this high ground.
Yeah, and I agree. And they're in a kind of a weird situation right now on the offense where they don't really have that many tools to do. I'm thinking engage here, but as long as Shatter rates out and is able to kind of sustain that fight out, I think they're fine. Oba takes down Kenzie, Cypher takes down Oba again. Trading that, Cypher takes down, you know, the Zenyatta. Shatter gets another trade kill, and so is RYB. Man, this is just a lot of kills on the kill feed, but the thing is, I think the defense still has a little bit more of an advantage, especially with that defensive sound barrier.
Yeah, it's going to have to come down to these last few kills here. Shatter ends up taking out Shari K. Cypher will end up taking out Cooler. So it really just comes down to Cypher versus Shatter and the Tracer. I wasn't sure if that was the D.Va no pilot, but it is Tweedy that is dead. So it is going to be Olba. And Olba will end up going down. So the side of ANOX will be able to get onto the point and continue to advance forward. 4 people taking it right now, as it should take just a second longer. And so 1 minute and 45 seconds will be the time it takes to cap the first point here for ANOX. Now, as they continue forward, the ultimate charge is looking pretty good here, but I will say that the defensive ultimates are definitely looking there as well. They have the answers that they need to deal with pretty much everything, but of course a self-destruct that is perfectly positioned because they don't have a sound barrier to go ahead and give that extra HP pool to disengage from it, but sound boost can be, speed boost can be plenty enough to take care of that as well.
Yeah, and this is kind of where the win conditions for the defense are super hard, because the offense is only running, you know, kind of like a single support composition. They go into the backline divide, that great graviton surge really disrupts it, and of course, man, this is just not enough. You cannot transcendence that D.Va ultimate.
No, they're going to actually get just absolutely wiped. There is going to be a team kill. Horn, unfortunately, we missed it because I was missing my hotkey switch over to the right player. But what I wanted to also highlight from that is that, like you said, it is just like you can't just use the Transcendence to fix that. And that's the benefit of running Tracer, of running D.Va over these other heroes, is that you cannot counter it with Transcendence. But now they're going to go in with the Primal Rage, trying to zone back, trying to get ground on this payload. And so far, there's going to be a lot of damage going out onto the Reaper here, as he's probably looking to channel Death Blossom. Shatter not able to find the look he's looking for. There you go. He's going to go for it. But Cypher in the right place at the right time will end up cleaning it up, as there are going to be more kills coming out as Clown ends up helping out take out the Winston. Will end up going down to the D.Va. And D.Va seems to be the only one on the point, so she might be able to actually take it. 0.86 meters. And gets charged away by Tweedy. Able to zone her back, knock her out, and take her out. However, he goes down in the end for his troubles. 3 minutes and 19 seconds have been used so far to push the payload to where it is now, and this is beginning to look like ANOX's map to take here, as they could be looking at a sub 5-minute time if they can continue to do this.
Yeah, this last section is actually very hard to push from the offense, but what they're really hoping for on the offense push is they can get it free clear and maybe get it just close enough where they're able to, you know, stall out and really outlast the fight. RYB goes into the background. That's exactly what they want. They engage in the background. Shard takes out Shara K, and this is just an annihilation. Cypher goes down. That's a lot of your DPS. Tweety takes on ANOX, and man, this is just a wipe.
They're gonna have to go back to the drawing board and figure it out, and their ultimates are just not in a good situation at all. The Cypher using that Death Blossom didn't get really much done at all, and so now it's going to be on the cooldown. And you look at it, ANOX is the only one with a Graviton Surge anywhere nearby available. Defense looking very good.
Yeah, and they changed that. They changed Rubicon off of the Winston back onto the Zenyatta. So they definitely want to, you know, try to out-sustain in these fights, which I think is what the issue was in the last few fights. They just didn't have enough health to outlast the opponents in this fight. But man, the big problem here is that, you know, they do have the Transcendence, they do have an Earth Shatter, and right now on the offense, they're working with basically nothing. So Cypher lets it take on Opa, which is a really good kill. Kenzie's still alive somehow, and Kenzie's just taking down low. As Kenzie can survive this, they can outlast the fight. And back my Shatter 2K is doing so much.
Sorry, ended up taking out Adatonian in the background, who's doing so much damage, and it's not to mention that Adatonian also has the Transcendence available. So the offense now going to be able to push in without having to worry about that Transcendence at all, and the defense is going to have a while before it's actually available. And the side of Overwatch Kings is in a very bad position if they continue to lose heroes like this, but it looks like they have kind of zoned off and prevented ANOX from pushing forward. I really don't know how I feel about that, especially after they got the kill onto Adatonian, and now the Deadeye going to be coming out once again from Olba as they continue to push forward, doing the same thing once again. It looks like they will successfully zone, but yeah, I feel really weird about that because Adatonian ended up getting some huge kills there for his team, for his team there, and then ends up going down to Rubicon. Sharky's gonna end up taking out Clown, and this Transcendence could be absolutely huge because he didn't end up using it before. Did get knocked out, did get taken down. Kinsei continuing to fan the hammer over and over again, and ANOX is pushing forward pretty effectively here as there are no members remaining. It is just going to be Clown, and he is going to be looking to speed boost the remaining members of his team out to the point to set them up to hold on to this, and there isn't going to be much time left for them to do that as it is going to be a Deadeye from Kinsei, and I think this should just be it. There's pretty much no way that they can stall it out. They can attempt to, they can try to, but it is just going to be a matter of time before the payload gets taken out. Pulse Bomb is going to be there as well, and now there's no one there, and that is going to finally be it at a time of 6:01. They are successfully, or 6:02, they are, or yeah, 6:01, they are able to effectively take it. The time continues to run.
Yeah, that was just kind of exactly what they needed at the last push. They needed to kind of realize in the fact that the defense was a little, I can't believe the defense was just a little overextended right there, which kind of resulted in that exact kill. So maybe that's something else I have to look at. Maybe not do that.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, though, what is the, you know, the qualitative difference? I mean, the best way that you can. I mean, the last situation is definitely something to draw on, but what is the difference between those kinds of situations and the situations where you actually end up making those better? The greedy plays are greedy when they fail, but the greedy plays are game-breaking when they're done effectively. When you push out as the defense, you wipe the offense, and they're not able to get that second push because you push them back so far. You know, what are your thoughts there? You know, what is a way that, you know, you can, you know, phrase it to people or frame it to people so that they can, you know, see those changes for their own play?
Yeah, so oftentimes the greedy play is basically when you think you can take advantage of the fact, you know, of respawns, of the fact that people need to recover, and normally you're taking like a winning fight, right? For example, if you're up 5v3, it makes sense to push in because you're basically forcing the opponent team to back up even more, because otherwise they risk getting staggered. But the big problem is you have to remember that respawn timers aren't that long. I mean, 10 seconds is like a decent amount of time, but the fact that you're oftentimes chasing opponents who are just focused on running away means that by the time you catch up to them, it's already 6 or 7 seconds past, and more likely they're running back to their spawns. What happens in that case is that you run into them, and then you run into the respawning foes, and all of a sudden that advantage that you accumulated, remember, you're still half health. You probably haven't healed because you're away from your healers right now, and that means that instant transitions in there. So when you want to punish teams, always remember what your cooldowns are, what your respawns are, and use that to its advantage.
Couldn't agree more with that sentiment. Definitely on the part about the respawns. Definitely at the medium to high skill levels on the pug ranks. But Kinsei going to be getting the first kill of the match as he takes out Olba. That's a very big kill here for the defense, as they are going to be able to stabilize off the back of that. No long range hit scan as a threat, and we do have Sharike. This lineup, actually, this is probably just worth taking a moment after this fight is done to break this down and talk about it a little bit here. Shatter's going to end up going down, so not a good start here from Overwatch Kings, as they do end up losing quite a bit here. Sharike will end up taking out... Yeah, there goes Rib. Does end up falling, but they're running a very, 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 very old strategy as far as the current meta goes. ANOX, you know, this is definitely reminiscent of Hardblue, reminiscent of Reunited playing that Torbjorn. And then you look over at Kinsei, you look at, you know, teams like Northern Gaming with when they used to have Bird, you know, one of the best soldier players in the world, and of course Sur4 on Cloud9. But this is just very much like a Cloud9 or a combination of Cloud9 complexity style defense here.
Well, I mean, they're basically forcing up the right side, and they know, hey, you can... we'll down your shield and we'll pull you to the victory, and that's why the soldier is so good right now. Is because the soldier is just given so much room to put out damage. Sharike stays alive, and obviously on ANOX turret easily getting taken down, but the fact that they're focusing the turret so often gives them a little bit of advantage. Man, Sharike, I think, pulled the wrong person in that aspect, but Shatter 2K takes down Kenzie but gets traded by ANOX.
Yeah, he needed to get that kill onto the Dragon Blade, otherwise that would have spiraled out of control incredibly quickly, and that turret's going to go down very, very quickly. Molten Core going to be going ahead and used so he can get the turret up as fast as possible, and it looks like they might have actually just stabilized, as there really isn't that many left here for the offense at all. Clown is the only one, and in fact he ends up barriering himself. I don't agree with this decision at all. With 4 minutes and 14 seconds remaining on the clock, they have time to take the map, they have time to win it. Why not save the ultimate? But they end up using it anyways, and now Clown going to be recharging, unless he's planning to switch to Ana or something different. Don't know how I feel about that.
No, let me tell you exactly how micro level this is right now. Look where the turret is now versus the beginning of the game. They're forcing them up the front level. They're basically saying, try this again and again. And the main part is, he's just repositioned his turrets the way where it gets open sight of the entire thing. Sure, it goes down, which is
so smart. No, that was so smart. He used the turret to block the Deadeye shot. He used his turret to absorb the Deadeye shot. ANOX, you are a man after Torbjorn hearts here around the world, making big plays, showing that this hero can make the individual plays as he's in the backgrounds versus Shatter. Kensei with the sights, he was doing a lot. We're going to go ahead and switch back over to him as the duel in the background between Shatter and ANOX duels on, but ANOX is going to end up losing it as the Dragon Blade is a pretty good way for Shatter to get the better duel of that, but then Rubicon says, hey man, I can play games too. Ends up taking him out. Cypher with the death loss on the point is going to end up getting not 1 but 2 kills, make it 3 in the end, and Cooler takes out another, and now ANOX in a situation where they were down in the series. Match point 2-0. They might just end up taking a quick 2-0 back swing, leading us to the final map, which goes to Temple of Anubis right now. Scribe, what needs to change from Overwatch Kings? They only have 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. Basically one full attempt throughout the entire map.
Man, they need to try a different approach than running up here because they keep getting powered and punished by Sharai. The fact that he can pull everyone in, and it gets another kill on the McCree, which is great. Kenzie obviously putting a lot of damage. I don't know how Kenzie's doing all of this on Soldier. I thought he was nerfed to shit, but instead, man, Rubicon gets a kill on RYB, and now their damage is just mitigated, and they're just trying to kite this out for the rest of them. All they need to do is stall a little more. Kenzie gets a kill on Twitter as well. Man, this is an off-meta composition. This is just an off-meta composition.
I've been sitting on him. I don't know if you've been watching his camera personally, but he's been hitting some disgusting headshots there at the end. He flick headshot the Tracer, not even really having to think about it all. Overtime is going to go ahead and be activated, but Kensei going to be activating the sights at the same time. And really, there's nothing that they can do. They have to fight it out on the point. They can't really afford to play it slow and guard themselves from the sights. Olba is going to have to get on the point to try to contest, and he's taking a lot of damage. Just going to go ahead and jump up and down. And that is going to be ANOX taking this 4th map, and that will bring us 2-2. But yeah, I apologize to cut you there off at the end, but that was just absolutely crazy from Rubicon. I have not seen Zenyatta play that good in a long time. Very, very good in the clutch. Needing to get those kills. Soloed up onto Rib. Took out the other Zenyatta. And then ended up taking out both I believe it definitely was the Tracer, but he also, I believe it took out the Genji of Shatter. But at the end, Rubicon, huge kills. Yeah, 16 kill streak. He gets a kill streak card as a support. I have not seen one of those in a long time. I've seen kill participations all the time. But the support getting the kill card, definitely showing that he did a lot there.
Yeah, I mean, so a little history on Rubicon. Rubicon, back in when he used to play on a team called 425, which won, I think, Gosu Gamers Weekly like 10 or 11 or something from the EU side, was such a Zenyatta main. This was back in the days when they didn't have one hero limit on escort maps, but they had one hero limit on King of the Hill maps. So this is like way back. I don't know if people remember this, but Rubicon used to be one of the only players that brought in Zenyatta into, you know, that King of the Hill style and was dominant on it. So I'm not surprised that he's such a great player. But, you know, obviously when some members of 425, I think it was ANOX, Kenzie, and Rubicon, maybe I could be getting those names wrong, but definitely Rubicon and Kenzie transferred over. They just brought a lot of the talent with them, so definitely super excited for this map. And man, Temple of Anubis as our last map, 2CP is just, I'm surprised that this made it through, because Temple of Anubis is notorious for being a huge snowball map where you win the first point and then you can just take the second point extremely easy. But on the plus side, we might see some May.
Yeah, no, well, I would definitely say if it was Volskaya Hanamura, I think it'd be almost no questions asked at some point, but I think on this map we might end up seeing the Pharah Mercy more. Does tend to end up working out a little bit better. Also, the Junkrat has a good play here, and actually also Torbjorn at the first point when played properly can have some good impact. But what I wanted to pose the question to you is, it's really interesting that you put it that way, because a lot of the pro players put it the same way. Like, definitely at the beginning, everyone was like, 2CP sucks, it's imbalanced, whatever. We're now here at this point. People are finally coming around to it. They're saying 2CP is fun. Time Bank is good. It's good matches. Some of the best matches of the Atlantic Showdown. The Hanamura match with Rogue and Reunited was absolutely amazing, right? But my point is that at the end of that discussion, it was always like, Temple of Anubis, least balanced map out of all of them. Yet, when you go back through at least my personal casting experience so far in the last month, I have seen Temple of Anubis more picked from teams than I have Hanamura or Volskaya Industries. So it's interesting. Volskaya's kind of taken that place of being the agreed upon quote-unquote worst 2CP. Hanamura's kind of the stock one, if you want to look at it that way in a lot of people's opinion. But for some reason, Temple of Anubis has been seeing a lot of play. In fact, it decided the last qualifier between Immortals, who is now FaZe, and LG for the Overwatch Open.
Yeah, so this is kind of a little bit of why is this Temple Anubis in terms of ways that the defense can hold and the ways that the offense are able to execute map, especially on different offense to really wander through. And in this part, you can do like some backdoor stuff, and there's some funky stuff here. So there's a lot of opportunity and options here that's not exactly available on other maps. As you can see right here, they're looping them around, and they're basically just saying, you know, hey, we're going to try to catch you out of position. We're going to try to catch you that 1 millisecond or that 1 second where you get out of position, and we're going to capitalize on that. So right now, they're pushing slowly onto the site, and this is kind of where the offense really needs to engage.
And they need to get those kills. We're going to go switch over to Adatonian to see if he can light up in comparison to his opposite number, but so far Kensei is going to get the first kill, and so is Cypher. Adatonian finally takes out ANOX. He was the one to do all of that damage. It looks like he's going to continue to push back off here as his team is falling one by one. They might be going for the chase down kill. Would be a bit greedy, but nonetheless, the first minute of offense here held out by the side of ANOX as they are going to clean up Shatter too. Oh, Shatter 2K as he ends up going down. And that's going to be another 10 seconds of stagger that they have to wait out. So 2 minutes and 45 seconds will be the next attempt here coming out from the offense, or at least the next meaningful attempt.
Yeah, so they need to really basically get behind the enemy lines, catch them out. Cypher right now, they don't notice. If they wander through without noticing him, you can get a lot of damage off.
And he's already going to. He's going to go from 75 to full. As Olba ends up going down to takes out, Sharike, making it so that they don't have that barrier to hide behind. But this Death Blossom, they were not ready for it. You were not prepared, says Cypher, getting himself a 4K. Anik going to get himself 2. Not sure how they ended up getting. I swear Cypher got himself 4 kills, but maybe one of them was stolen. Either way, 3 kills for Cypher in that Death Blossom, guaranteed, 4 being responsible for, and even more that he participated in. And that's how you play Reaper. Great flanking potential, and just not. Also, I mean, never giving up the fact that he had the flank. He never said, Overwatch Kings, you know where I am. You guys forgot, and you're going to regret that. Transcendence going to come out from the offense as they push forward, eating up a 6-man Graviton Surge. The Transcendence, though, does make a big enough difference, but at the end, when you also have that charge that throws them all flying in the air, the Transcendence doesn't hit on enough of them, and this kill feed is definitely going in favor of the defense so far, but Shatter, Tweety, going to try to make a change of it as it's just Cypher, Kinsey, and Cooler versus them. And now Shatter, 89% with this ultimate, wants to get it up, wants to get the Dragon Blade out, unsheath it, get the kills, but it's not enough yet, as this Lucio just making it an absolute hell for him to finish it off. Cooler saying, no sir, I'm sorry, I don't want you to get that kill that easily. He will go ahead and back off, and that will be Overwatch Kings taking the point, but not without ANOX eating up a lot of the time.
Yeah, so this is kind of why this map's actually favored more. It's because while the offense can take a win and it's very hard for defense to move over, this last point is so notorious for being such a good defensive point. It forces you to come from other angles, and oh my god, Shatter would say the Dragon Blade, you know, great defensive Earth Shatter to really bring down, you know, a lot of the tanks right now. Twitty's going down, Sharike gets Clown as well, so this is obviously a great fight for the defense, and they're able to clean it up, but guess who's still alive right now? Sharike somehow is still alive in the background, is able to just get taken out by NX, so man, that was a great defensive you know, hold. I think the offense had the right idea with Sharike going in, but maybe, just maybe, they could have waited for a little more of the ultimates.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I also think that they could have done a little bit better job creating that opportunity for Shatter, but I was on his screen, and that Earth Shatter could have been that game-changing moment, as he was isolated from that point on, but they didn't end up killing him. They just let him do his thing with Dragon Blade, because the sound barrier went out from Cooler, and that made that little difference there. So now all of the ultimates are going to be kind of reset here. We're going to have parity coming up as Anik. It will be having his Graviton Surge soon. Sharike going to be close to his Earth Shatter, closer than Tweety, but Olba and Cypher both sitting on a Death Blossom, and Cypher notorious for getting the big flanks. And this looks like he's going to be able to. No, but he gets strip pulled in by the Graviton Surge. That's exact opposite wanted to happen, but no, it doesn't matter either way. He's going to be healed up by that Transcendence. Going to get the damage out. Cooler going to get himself a double kill. Rib going to end up killing himself. And that's going to leave Shatter 2K. Well, it's a story that we keep painting over and over again. He's the last one alive, and Sharike, well, don't need to necessarily crouch spam. You can just beat the corpses of your opponents, as they are definitely feeling confident right now in this match, as it doesn't look like Overwatch Kings is really doing anything to make ANOX feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, right now all they need to do is group up and try to clear. They don't really have any defensive defense, so this might be the perfect time for Olba to get in a really good Death Blossom, but they just get caged in by the Graviton Surge behind, trying to get only kills Kenzie, and man, that's just not enough. You need to kill more people than that, but RYB takes down Sharai, which is obviously good, until he takes out Rubicon, RYB takes down ANOX, so that's just what they're looking for. This is definitely enough, and they take down Cypher, and this is just so good. That Death Blossom didn't do as much, but it did set up the rest of the team to do a lot more.
And they will end up taking the point with 4 minutes and 5 seconds remaining, so looks like while it did take them quite a bit to get started, about 5 minutes total it took them to go ahead and get to the final point, but it will not be their final attempt, at least not yet. They should have an opportunity to go ahead and take the next 2 points within, hopefully within less time, so that they get those extra, that free 2 minutes that is awarded at the end. But as it stands, Overwatch Kings definitely needs to get a good defense going themselves. You really don't want to let the other team get in any advantage. I feel like this is really where we see the time-based system become, or at least the time-based system have a lot of impact on the series. We'll see what happens with the new payload time bank and the PTR as that gets implemented, but the time bank right now for 2 CPs, if you get down a minute or two, it makes such a huge difference. And it sounds really small. Oh, you're only at 1 or 2 minutes left, that's, or less, that, you can make a difference, but no, if you were a minute or two behind, then all of a sudden you get on your final attempt, a full set before the other team does, and then one of the teams is going to be able to have a full offensive attempt where the other team has to hold completely or hold 1 point and not to let them take the second.
Yeah, so this is all about the first point hold. On the other side of on the side of ANOX, we saw a very good, defensive hold, and I'm just wondering if Overwatch Kings can do the same. They have RYB on the Junkrat right now, which is very interesting, very good at chip damage and slowing down your offensive push, but Kenzie is on a Widow, which I don't know if he's going to change off of. Widow is actually very good for getting the initial first 2 picks, and if he can get those first 2 picks, all of a sudden they can roll that point and make that life a lot easier. So let's see how that works.
Yeah, well, back when I started this game, at the very beginning of it, back when I was not even the only watch days, back when it was only closed beta, but one of the strategies in No Hero Limit on this map was double Winston, double Widow, and if you get the double Widows set up on that high ground, you can go ahead and just pick after pick after pick and start to train. But now we'll see if Kinsey can end up landing the shots. He's already going to get tagged up by the McCree, but ANOX is going to get the first kill of the fight. He's going to take out Olba. We're going to sit on Kinsey here for a second to see if he can light it up, but every single shot so far has been a miss. There we go. Going to line up one onto RYB. Kinsey helping out his team with Cypher as they continue to push forward. Sharai will be knocked out of the mech, and as you can see, they moved on to the payload. Rubicon's going to take out Clown. Sharai takes out Tweety, and although this Widowmaker didn't make the difference itself, I really have to echo what Hexagrams would be saying if he was casting this right now. Widowmaker without a shot fired can change the outcome or the layout of a battlefield, and that's just the power of a sniper class and a sniper hero. Kinsey gonna go ahead and stay on it for now.
Yeah, and the thing is, with the Widow, you change the way you play defensively. All of a sudden you have to I have to keep my attention on it. If you kind of saw like that exact same thing, they had the Discord orb on her instead of everyone engaging, because they were like, well, we need to focus her down. If she gets, any free shots whatsoever, we lose. But because of that, she was able to take RYB and then was able to allow the rest of her team more room to execute.
Let's see if they can go ahead and get it off of Olba. This is exactly what we were talking about, getting that first pick. Now they're not going to have a Tracer to fight it out. Cypher's going to go ahead and get out the Dragon Blade, and he's going to get himself not 1, but 2. I believe Sharai ended up taking out one of those, and Rubicon again going to be feeding, or getting onto the kill feed, and making a huge push. ANOX on the backswing of this best of 5. They first went down 0-2. They first lost the first 2, going down to match point. Earthshatter coming out from the defense. Overwatch Kings not wanting to give up yet, but Cypher says, no, I am sorry, Overwatch Kings, but this is not your map. This is not your moment. We will fight it out. We will be the last team to stand. And with Kinsey taking out RYB, it is just going to be Olba left on the point. They need to clean him up as soon as possible. And now Adatonian's gone as well. And that's going to be a conversion. A full 3 minutes faster in Scribe. You have to be, as a player on Overwatch Kings, know that though you shouldn't be, ever, has to be thinking, uh-oh, this is awkward.
Oh man, I can't tell if that's... Do they want to go back to lobby with it?
I don't know if we can because of the time bank system. That's the problem. It is a very weird situation. I guess we could just leave it at 4 minutes and 7 minutes.
But yeah, no, this is a little awkward right now. 3 minutes advantage on that side. All they need to do is hold for maybe 3 minutes and then like force a 1-minute take of the last point. So I think they're actually in a relatively good situation here. But man, you cannot stress how quickly that take was. And Kenzie on that Widow did what he needed to do, and ANOX is back. That is,
okay,
that almost was a little bad in the grand finals, game 5, round 2. But man, Kenzie was the game maker here, and I mean, he got, I think, maybe like 2 kills. I think he had 2 final shots, or final blows, and one was on ROIB, and the other one was, I think, on Olba. Yeah, and those are high priority kills right there. So even though he didn't get that many kills, he was able to change a lot of the course of the fight. And when you play against Widow, you have to play differently, because based on what angle the Widow's at, that means that's the angle that, let's say, your Reinhardt's got to angle his shield. That's the way that you have to be looking to not die.
Offense not going to waste any time. Overwatch Kings know that they're behind on the time bank by a full 3 minutes already. Charge into charge. Cypher's going to get the first kill. Rib taking out Shari K. So a bit of a defensive advantage to start this off. And Olba, if he goes down 2, that's going to be the first push completely cleaned up. I seriously doubt that Overwatch Kings, Shatter, and Clown specifically will be able to take a 2-on-5. But he will trade out Cypher in the end. So the long run will give them maybe an opportunity to take another shot at this. But I have to agree with your sentiment on that. And also on the note that, I mean, at the end of the day, it could have been, you know, many other players on that Widowmaker who are infinitely worse than Kinsey, but just that facet that you point out at the end makes such a huge difference. And now you can kind of feel Overwatch Kings feeling the pressure. They got thrown off by that Widowmaker pick. It really didn't do the most in the world, but it opened up the rest of his team to have less tension on them. And now, with this momentum, with this pressure, Overwatch Kings starting to feel a little bit as they push forward, and then they stand on the bridge feeling awkward. I don't know if this is what they wanted to do. A charge goes in and ends up hitting up onto the onto the Winston. So they will end up taking him out, but Shari K will take out Olba. Kinsey onto Shatter, so a 2-for-2 trade as Tweety finally gets the better of the end for them, as they will take that advantage. But can they continue to go out? It's going to be Adatonian versus Rubicon, but you know what? Kinsey's going to come back and help him out, and that kill feed, that is nothing but ANOX members going and taking out nothing but Overwatch Kings members. And this is getting down to the final attempt. Even if they take the next 2 points, there is no way they're going to have 2 attempts. They only have a guaranteed 1 more after they take the 2 points. If they do, it will be the final attempt, quote unquote.
Yeah, there's only one thing right now that could really screw over Man or Shatter all and Shatter. But never mind, Shatter TK just goes down, so I guess it doesn't even matter. One man.
Yeah.
Or Shatter.
And unfortunately, your mic keeps cutting out there, Scribe. If you could resolve that for a second, as we do have the Cypher getting the double kill, Rubicon getting the double kill as well. And I have to agree with you there. It was very clean for them, and it just didn't look good at all. Cypher getting a lot of damage done. They're never ready for him at all. They just never... And he's been doing a really similar tactic in pretty much every situation, just different positions.
Yeah, I agree there, and sorry about apologize about that part, but I mean, Shatter 2K going down so early in the fight is just not that good. But Shatter 2K is so spaced out from the rest of his team right now. They need to follow up with him. That Earthshatter doesn't really catch too many people, but that's not the purpose of it. Right now, all it's doing is zoning, and Shatter 2K was just too far away from the rest of his team to do any real damage right there. So they're just able to clean it up in 1 minute, 23 seconds left on the clock. I don't think that's enough.
It's going to be really hard. They need to at least get the first point to buy themselves an extra opportunity, where Overwatch Kings was 1 map away from winning the series. Now they're on the precipice of losing the map, as they have 7 minutes to contend with against the side of ANOX. But I do want to prompt you before the fight gets too underway, or I guess the thought for after this is that they are running a Reaper and a Genji. They aren't running any long range threat. They aren't running a Widow. They aren't running a McCree. And so far, these up close fights have been going to the favor of the defense, as the Death Blossom's going to be channeled out by Cypher. He's going to get himself in the 1 kills, 2 kill Shatter with the Dragon Blade. Going to get himself a double kill, and this is exactly what Overwatch Kings need, and it couldn't have come anytime sooner. 45 seconds remain here as Adatonian picks up the double kill, Shatter picks up the double kill, but if they don't get going right now, they will not be able to take the last point. They will have 1 attempt, basically, and they need to, because they aren't going to have a final attempt if they maybe take it with 1 second remaining, but there's almost no way that ANOX doesn't stall it out and force overtime.
Man, that was a little bit about ultimate management. They used trying to clear that point, and now they just have not enough. Olba needs to get a great death loss. He needs to kill more people, but kills Cooler. Tweety takes down Shark, and they might just be able to. But Kenzie and Rubicon trade out Shatter, so they're able to take out the majority of their damage right now. As long as they stall out this point, they should be in good hands.
They need to keep the Zarya alive. It looks like ANOX will go down. They're on the point. 3 seconds remain. They just need to proc overtime. They just need to proc overtime. And that will prevent it from being the final attempt. And they will go ahead and do that. So now the defense, whether or not they lose the point, is not as big of a deal if they can get their offense going. Cooler going to be able to get the kill onto Tweety. And maybe they might end up holding anyways. Cooler's gotten the kill. Kensei's got another kill. There's not many members left here on the side of the defense. Our offense, as they lose another member, a great deflect onto the flashbang. Bot Shatter, an opportunity, a moment of hope. But it's not enough as Kensei, with that Peacekeeper, puts it down. Oh man, 3-2, 7 minutes remain for ANOX to take 1 point to force the tie. If they take 2, it's just GG. But the probability of the third outcome where Overwatch Kings wins this series right here, right now, very, very low, as it is 7 full minutes for them to, again, 3 results. If they take the first point after 7 minutes, it's a tie. We go to a best of 3 King of the Hill. If they take both, it's just GG. ANOX in a great position and definitely in command of this series now.
Man, this is a little rough because you saw exactly what they were able to do on offense right now, and Kenzie is back on that Widow. I'm not ready for this right now. This is... I hope that Overwatch Kings has adapted to this Kenzie Widow. And look, oh my god, look at Olba right now. He's kind of have an idea. I think what they're going to do is they're actually going to jump around maybe. I don't know what they're going to do, but I think they're trying to take advantage of the fact that Widow might try to control that upper area. So I think they have some idea with how they want to counteract this. But if Kenzie can get in that position and not be challenged again, I can almost guarantee that, you know, ANOX is going to go take this win.
Well, we'll see what can end up happening here as the gate is going to open in the beginning of the 7 minute starts, as we are going to be over onto this Widow. Switching over to Cypher though, as he's going to be the one initiating and buying that space for Kenzie. Will switch him in just a second as it rings out the first shot. It is going to be a miss, but Olba takes out Rubicon, and there we go. Rib takes out Kenzie. Like you said, they were ready for it, and the Winston gets on it, prevents any of that damage going out. Reaper going to be trying to shred away any target that he can, but Cypher's already taken out Adatonian, and this is definitely a decent trade here for the offense because of the run for the defense is so long. Every hero that they can get, every trade that they take is one that they can reinforce quicker, but that is exactly what the offense needed, our defense needed, to go ahead and shut down any of the remaining push that was left. And Kensei going to switch over to a Junkrat, never mind, going to be going right over to that McCree. Already going to be switching away from that Widowmaker.
I mean, that's a smart switch. That's a smart switch to swallow your pride right now, because right now Shatter 2K taking down so far, but 90%. If they can engage right now with Shatter still low, I think they can actually take this fight.
We'll find out here. They aren't going to actually fully commit. Now they're going to go ahead and move into the room, but Cypher's going to eat some shurikens and a dash, and now he's going to have to deal with Adatonian, who ends up taking him out. Of course, it was Shatter who's helping out. Now Shatter's in the background, able to get the good flank, able to dash up through the window. Could take a shot, but does get out alive. Not a good enough reaction there from Kensei to flick and take that shot, but the Dragon Blade is going to come out from Shatter, and Olba going to channel a massive Death Blossom, get himself a triple kill, force all the offense out forward, and Overwatch Kings is going to push forward, clean up those remaining members, and now they've eaten up 2 minutes on the clock. They have given themselves some hope. The beginning of the game, they haven't lost the first point. They haven't outright been in a situation where they are playing only for a tie, and so hope is still in the field, and that is the last thing to die in any situation, and it should always be the last thing to die, to be honest, but Overwatch Kings still a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and I mean, if they can get that Dragon Blade to convert so many kills, Cypher already kills Twitty, kills Clown, no. That's 2 kills already, and then they can kill 1 more DPS dealer. I think they'll be in a good place right now, but I don't think it's enough. I think he has to back off and just try to kite and stay alive, but they take down Antonoi, Olba takes down Shark, and it might not be enough, I think, from the offense. I think they need a little more, maybe 1 more DPS dealer going down a little earlier, but man, this is going to be a tough point to take without your ultimates.
Yeah, and switching over to the Tracer is Kensei. He's going to be looking for that different look, looking for that double assassin, as it is a decent answer to Genji when played properly. It gives the Tracer player the, or it forces the onus on the Genji player to be not making mistakes, because the Tracer can so easily punish, but we'll be ending up seeing if that ends up working out for them, as Rubicon's going to go for the Transcendence on the point. We're going to get a switch over to Olba here, as he's super close to this Death Blossom, and it is so important that this Death Blossom does a lot. Rubicon's going to end up going down. That's going to feed Olba a health globe. Going to go ahead and help top him off. He's going to get a second kill onto Cooler, and the Earth Shudder comes out from the offense, hitting on everyone that's caught in that room, and maybe maybe they can combo off the back of it, but it's just Anik and Shari K. They end up getting 3 kills. Kensei as well, taking 1 as he's backing off, having to get the health pack, dealing with that Genji. Gonna heal up again, but it looks like he is gonna end up going down, throws the pulse bomb, but dies. And now, ANOX, maybe a little bit of doubt in their head as the defense is maintaining the hold. Now I say that as Anik, Rubicon! This man, this Zenyatta play, whenever the side of ANOX is at the very last members in the duel, whenever you see a Zenyatta left over, you expect the Zenyatta to die. Not Rubicon. Nope. Kills.
Just clicks on their heads because it's all easy, man, from there. But that's actually relatively good hold. They're still building an ultimate. Cypher actually almost has ultimate as well as Anak. So this actually could be a very good situation for them to get that clear.
And they find Olba, so they find him, so they will be able to prevent that. And now they're going to have that Dragon Blade and that Graviton Surge, so they could go for the really quick double cap here. But Kensei is going to end up going down or taking out RWB, and there's going to be the defensive hold right there. Shatter ends up getting a dash, so they get a double kill, make it a triple onto Kensei as he gets to deflect into the Tracer's face. She ends up killing herself. Why are you hurting yourself? Is what Genji asks as he backs up, and they are set up with 3 minutes remaining. I mean, it's a hard question to ask, but do you think Overwatch Kings has it in them? Based on what you've seen in the series, would you be willing to put your mouth with them, or do you think it is going to be ANOX with this 3 minutes on the clock to be able to take it?
It's all about this Earth Shatter and the Graviton Surge. If they catch the high priority targets, they can instantaneously win, and they catch Shatter to get Shatter dashes out in Dragon Blades, and this is just enough. Not enough. Takes down Rubicon in the back line, and this is, I mean, this is exactly what Overwatch Kings needed.
I'm not sure. I think he might have actually deflected it. It was a red Graviton Surge, not a blue one, which ended up sucking up all the offense, and they end up taking a pretty good fight off the back of it. Tweety is alive, and so is Rib. But, or sorry, so is Rib. Yeah, never mind. They're the defense. Totally got mixed up by the colors there. But nonetheless, I got so thrown off. I'm pretty sure that was a deflect onto the Graviton Surge, because I swear the Graviton Surge was red, not blue. Cypher. Oh man, that, I mean, that, like you said, if that Graviton Surge would have hit on the defense, they might have been clumped up at that choke point. Instead, it was the offense that was.
Yeah, and that just wasn't good enough, and now they're out of time. They have one more huge ultimate Earth Shatter. If they can Earth Shatter high priority targets, I mean, this is like a huge what-if situation, but they need to get it down early. But they're getting enough kills. I think they can actually turn this fight.
And they have gotten multiple kills. Make it 5, make it 4. Sorry, make it 4 total. Tweety gets 1 answer, and Anek's going to get the last one. That means only 1 member left for the side of Overwatch Kings. Team kill as Clown and Olba are going to be on a major mission here. They have to hold off against the entirety of ANOX with 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. There's not going to be enough here. This is going to be it. ANOX at the reverse sweep. It started off 2-0 to Overwatch Kings. They only needed 1 more map. They were up match point, and ANOX said, no, not today. We will not give up. Our resolve is iron, and the game is ours, and ANOX will be your winners of the EU Overwatch Go4 Overwatch Cup number 12 on a 3-2 scoreline. They take home €150. They take home 100 points in the cup. And at the beginning of this series, Scribe, I mean, I heard your voice. Definitely have to agree with you. Did not expect this outcome.
Man, this was a little. This is like day and night from the first 2 games. The first 2 games, they just look so out of place. They almost look like they just didn't know how to engage. And then I mean, there's no way. Like, I mean, it kind of sucks to say, but like Shatter can only carry you so hard. And I think obviously it's got to be tiring. I mean, we've been casting for like, you know, easily like 6 hours, and it's exhausting. But playing for this amount of time, I can't imagine how rough that is. And you know, we talked about fatigue at the very beginning when ANOX, you know, was coming off a little bit of a break, whereas, you know, Overwatch Kings had just finished their game with Copenhagen Flames. So it would not be out of the realm possibility to say, well, hey, you know, fatigue did play a part in this. You know, maybe they're mentally zoned out, and they're up 2-0, and they probably thought, hey, we can relax, we can lose a game, we can even lose 2 games, and as long as we take the 3rd game, we will be fine. But man, that's just, and I honestly think they could have. I just felt like, you know, like giving up 7 minutes on Temple of Anubis is just too much time to give to ANOX. And if you respect, even if you respect ANOX, like, you know, like I guarantee Overwatch Kings had a lot, knew exactly what they're getting themselves into, but 7 minutes is just too much for some of the better teams.
And Definitely fatigue setting in a little bit as myself. I forgot to switch the titles there for the last match, guys. I apologize. Was so into the match, and it was such a long series that I ended up forgetting, and I do apologize for that. But definitely, I think that fatigue was a matter of, and also, like you say, the momentum. I mean, ANOX, they went from looking so weak in comparison to Overwatch Kings in some respects to absolutely coming out so strong in that last map. But unfortunately, that is going to be the end of Overwatch Kings, and it is going to be ANOX taking the finals on a 3-2 scoreline. So, is there any thoughts that you want to go ahead and wrap us up here with Scribe? Of course, that was quite an amazing event overall. Definitely a lot of upset stories along the way. But, I mean, is there anything else that you want to highlight? Any last plugs that you want to say before we get over to the end of the stream?
Honestly, not much. I mean, if you haven't caught the ESL Atlantic Showdown, that obviously ended with, I'm not going to spoil it, but a team winning, a European team, not an NA team. But, I mean, I'm definitely excited for the rest of Overwatch. I'm excited for all the lot of action that's going on. If you want to check out some of my own content, I do writing for GoSuGamers.com, so feel free to check over there for any content that, hey, you might think that you might enjoy on my side. But I mean, it's always a pleasure casting with you, man. And obviously, man, these games today are just incredible.
I have to echo the sentiment. Definitely agree. Enjoy the casting. The insight you bring is definitely very valuable, and it gives my voice a solid rest throughout this cast. But definitely follow Scribe on Twitter at Scribe with a 1 instead of an I, OW, as you guys can get the updates on his information. Also, check out his articles on GoSuGamers. If you guys haven't followed the channel, please do, as all the casts I do will be on my channel. If they are not, you can follow me on Twitter at RaptorZOW, and I do all of my updates there to let you guys know where I'll be casting, when I'll be casting, etc. And as far as it goes for ESL, thank you so much for them to letting us cast this match. They will be handing out €150 over to the side of ANOX and 100 Go4 points to them. And you guys can follow for more Go4 Overwatch action, more King of the Hill Overwatch action for ESL, as well as the rounding up of the Atlantic Showdown. You can follow at ESL Overwatch on Twitter. But that does it for us, guys. This was the ESL Go4 EU Overwatch Cup number 12. Congratulations to ANOX as they win it on a 3-2, and they will be guaranteeing themselves a shot at the monthly finals. But that does it for us, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you guys next Sunday for the ESL Go4 EU Overwatch Cup number 13.